I would request Dr. Kavita ma'am to kindly give a brief introduction about today's Menstreaming Panel Discussion.
Am I audible, Radhika?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. Good evening, all. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all to today's webinar on Menstreaming Health, Men as Catalyst in Nutrition, Education, and Family Well-being. As we know, the conversation around health and nutrition during this year's POSHAN Ma highlights the role of women as caregivers and nurturers. Yet men are equally important in shaping healthier families and societies. Today's discussion brings together distinguished leaders who have been working tirelessly in the areas of food, nutrition, education, public health, and mental well-being to help us understand how men can serve as catalysts for change. Allow me to introduce our esteemed panelists today. Professor Atul Gokhale, Director of Symbiosis School of Culinary Arts and Nutritional Sciences. Sir is a visionary leader dedicated to advancing social change through food, nutrition, education, and food innovations. Professor Gokhale has been the forefront of shaping culinary and hospitality programs that not only address food as a medium of change, but also engage communities to foster sustainable development. Dr. SubbaRao, Scientist F and Head of Niche at the National Institute of Nutrition, a respected researcher and a policy leader whose contribution to nutrition science have been pivotal in guiding India's health and nutrition strategies. Sir has been recently conferred as the Fellow of International Union of Nutritional Sciences. With his deep expertise, Dr. Rao will shed light on the scientific perspectives of men's roles in improving family nutrition and community health. Dr. Girish Lad, founder and chairman of the Texas School of Mental Health, a pioneer in integrating mental health into the broader discourse of well-being. In recognition to his work, the Robert D. Sorbonne University, France, conferred the title of Father of Million Girls. He is also the author of 6 Phases of Psycho-Oncology, a very well-sold book, and Working Towards Mental Fitness. Dr. Lad will bring a holistic perspective to our discussion by connecting mental health with the family well-being. Pleasure is on my side to welcome Dr. Siddharth Wagulkar, Nutrition Officer at the World Food Programme, a global advocate of nutrition equity, the vast experience in implementing community-based and large-scale nutrition programs. Dr. Wagulkar brings a practical, global perspective on how men can contribute to strengthening nutrition security and resilience in families and societies. Together, this distinguished panel will explore how shifting mindsets and practices around men's engagement can drive positive outcomes in nutrition, education, and family well-being. We are honored to have such accomplished experts with us today. I encourage all participants to actively engage and reflect and carry forward the insights shared during this session. Welcoming you all on a professional name as a head of the program for nutrition and dietetics, and also on a personal note to this platform. Thank you, Radhika. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, Jai Hind, everyone, and good evening. This is an auspicious occasion of Ashtami also today. So, wishing you all a blessed Ashtami as well. And it is my, hello? Yeah, and it is my privilege to welcome you all to this panel on Menstreaming Health, Men as Catalyst for the Nutrition, Education, and Family Well-being. Now, this POSHAN SAMVAAD that we have started, it's basically an initiative of NSI Pune Chapter along with SCANS and along with the other important stakeholders and such as institutions such as SNDT University as well, where this is a series to create awareness on the common nutrition and the lifestyle issues. Now, each dialogue in this series is designed to open up the conversations that are often overlooked, but which are deeply impactful. Today's panel is also an apt continuation of this journey, and because it is bringing men into the nutrition and the family health narrative, it is not just timely, however, it is very, very essential. Globally, the studies show that when men are engaged in nutrition, families thrive. Now, there are studies which I was just looking, which said that in Ethiopia, the men's nutrition knowledge was linked to better diet diversity for women and children. Also in Ghana, over half of fathers actively participate into child feeding practices recently. And these findings remind us that men are not just bystanders, but they are very, very powerful influencers. In India today, also, the NFHS 5 confirms that men play a very decisive role when it comes to purchasing or healthcare choices. And therefore, it has shown that the diet diversity among children has improved for more than 20% through the community interventions. Now, all these numbers that I was sharing just make one thing very, very clear that if we want healthier families, the men must move from being very passive providers to active partners. And as the proverb also reminds us that if you want to go far, go together. And in nutrition, going together means the men and the women, they share the responsibilities. Now, with that context, to change the narrative, let us begin with our discussion with our eminent panelist. So, my first panelist for today is an academician and also a chef by training, Professor Atul Gokhale, sir. So, my question to you, sir, is how can academic institutions prepare the future professionals to view nutrition as a shared gender responsibility? And also a related question to this is, do you think or can you share a few examples where men's participation in the food preparation or be it the decision making has transformed the food or the nutrition environments in households? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Radhika, and good evening to all attending the seminar over here, webinar over here, online series of POSHAN Ma. And good evening to all my fellow panelists, including Dr. SubbaRao, Dr. Girish Lad, and Dr. Siddharth Wagulkar. Very happy to be here. By design or by accident, as a chef, from very beginning, you are always inculcated with the knowledge of food in terms of making it tasty and I would say something which is very attractive, appealing from the taste, texture, smell, and everything point of view. But somehow, as chefs, over a period of time, we have realized the fact that a healthy plate of food on the customer or the people who are eating from your hands needs to be something which are very attractive for customers to like it, not just for the palate, not just for the taste buds, but beyond that for their gut as well. So when I got into education, the important aspect of transferring the knowledge of being a chef into academic institution was a very powerful one. Academic institutions today, with my experience of last 22 years in the academics, having run culinary, hospitality, and hotel management schools across various parts of the world, I've realized one thing that academic institutions have a very powerful role in shaping attitude. It's just not about imparting knowledge. And let me give you an example of the culinary school that I head currently. And we surprisingly, as you all generally would know, for a nutrition and a dietetics program, you would have almost 90 to 95% women entering into a nutrition and dietetics program. Not so many men enter these kind of programs. And this has been a trend which we have seen in Symbiosis for last 14 years in our MSc Nutrition and Dietetics program. However, one surprising fact which was thrown to us when we started the culinary school in 2016 was almost 65 to 70% of the entire student populace entering a batch would be women, would be girls. And then that was something very different than general hotel management education. And when we realized that, oh, yes, okay, here we have students who are entering the culinary field with a very inherent knowledge of nutrition. And so, when the program of culinary arts started, we consciously have integrated nutrition and food literacy into our culinary, hospitality, and our food technology programs, where the gender is neutral. We don't look at the entire programs from a gender lens, or rather, it has to be balanced between them. We train our students, irrespective of gender, to see food and nutrition as everyone's responsibility, not just as a woman's work. And of course, being a culinarian, being a chef, you know that 95% of the hotel chefs are men. So for them to be training, nutrition is an important part. And this begins with the classrooms through case studies, through discussions on cultural norms, where for a subject like the sociology and anthropology of food and how that has been viewed in the past across the world is a very important part. And projects on that focus on shared household roles are also play an important part. We have designed a community outreach programs where the men generally viewed as somebody who does not contribute to the kitchen in households. They generally get involved into the nutrition education systems. And through our MSc Nutrition and Dietetics program, as Radhika heads, Dr. Kavita heads along with Dr. Radhika, in schools, in Angalwadis, in public health areas, in community kitchens, which shifts the perceptions very tangibly. And men as individuals have contributed a lot today. I'll give you an example of how, Radhika, the systems of food, right from purchasing a quality food item which should go on a plate, to how it is processed, to how to ensure that the entire nutrition from the food items, whether vegetarian, vegetables, fruits, or meats, or milk, or any other ones, gets transferred in
Right.
a holistic pattern. So the cooking processes are an important part in a culinary school or in a nutrition school, which we teach them
Right.
to retain them very much. And here, men becoming an integral part of this becomes a very important aspect of how nutrition is imbibed to them. And by embedding
Right.
gender sensitive into professional education, we prepare future chefs where we say that you as a chef or a manager or a nutritionist are becoming an advocate to equitable nutrition practices, both at work as well as at home.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yes.
so just going it a little further, and I would say, as a chef myself, I've seen how kitchens, both professional and domestic, can be transformative spaces. By doing little
Hmm.
changes into your menus, by devising a balanced menu or having a holistic menu, when men enter these spaces with responsibility and respect, the conversation around nutrition becomes more inclusive and impactful.
Absolutely, sir. Right. Sir, any because you have been observing in academia the boys and the girls who enter in the space at a very young age, at the age of 17, undergraduates come in. So, sir, any experiences or anything which you would like to share where you have found that, yes, maybe there is a gap with respect to gender, and you have tried to sort of, through your experience or try to fill in that gap and bring in men more into the nutrition space.
As I said, the culinary profession has always been a male dominant. But when I see
Yes,
the men wanting to learn more about nutrition and how it will be
right,
given, how it will be transferred to households on a day-to-day level.
right.
Let me give you an example today that these chef influencers today are also what
Mhm.
I call, along with the nutritionist, becoming an important component of influencers, where
Right,
youngsters, when they observe
right.
chefs promoting healthy foods and healthy things, At the households also,
Mhm.
they see that, oh, somebody is who is a renowned person, who is a glamour in a culinary profession or a nutrition profession, may change children's habits, especially when
Mm.
the chef as a father will become a role
Mm.
model of a healthy eating. Unlike earlier times, let
Absolutely.
me tell you, when chefs would be having a pot belly and a big face and a huge body, today the chefs are
Yeah.
becoming lean and mean when they go
Yes.
onto the televisions, they want to go onto
Right.
social media. So
Right.
that's an example. They lead by example, I would say.
Okay, okay. And sir, anything from the food environment or family environment you would like to mention very, very briefly with respect to decision making when it comes to household decision making? Anything you would like to share here, sir?
Sure. So essentially, Radhika, in India, the men have not been participating in the household menu making or decision making on what to eat on a plate on a daily basis,
Right,
unless the man of the house demands that he wants a chole bhature or he wants a biryani or he wants something on the
right,
plate. Yeah, but over a
right.
period of time, as things are becoming more, I would say, serious in terms of health and health promoting thing, men along with the women of the house are involved into menu planning. What used to be in the domain of a West, where men and women jointly would decide what to eat over a week and they would plan menus.
Mm-hmm,
In Indian
mm-hmm,
households, especially in the ones who are knowledgeable about food, uh, participation of men is increasing as to what to eat, how much to eat, some decisions making
mm-hmm,
like how to incorporate healthy breakfast habits or
mm-hmm,
what to eat when, and the
mm-hmm,
importance of the whole fruits and whole nuts is becoming an important component that on a breakfast plate or on a meal or in a dabba.
mm-hmm,
The menu planning
mm-hmm.
is also something where men are also participating, and that
Right.
goes down the line to the children as well.
Okay. So definitely, sir, in the urban scenario, we are seeing this shift which is happening.
Yeah.
Sir, any examples or any changes which you have seen in your professional practice when you started maybe in your 20s till now? Is there any particular thing which you would like to mention?
I think, Radhika, I'll say that today, with the availability of the nutrition awareness around you, the chefs who otherwise wouldn't do, or the people, men who wouldn't otherwise be conscious about what they are eating on a day-to-day level,
Mm-hmm.
these are becoming a conscious efforts being taken by men. And in
Hmm.
terms of the urban households, I can see and I have seen alumni sharing stories as to how their own involvement in cooking during pandemic,
Right.
especially, has
Right.
improved their family's nutrition. And that began
Correct.
as an experimenting with, they began experimenting with healthier ingredients, mindful portion
Hmm.
sizes, balanced meals,
Hmm.
and also nurturing them, their own family members, about what is right and what is wrong. So men have becoming an integral part of it. Also, one more important area which I would say is with the Indian knowledge system and the propagation of that by Government of India uh, through
Hmm.
Ayurvedic food or something which is healthier food. The
Hmm.
principles of Ayurveda are probably getting involved, are being added to the day-to-day food as well.
Right. Okay, sir. So thank you so much for the highlights on how education or role modeling or how the role of chefs come in, which can bring a shift into the culture of nutrition from only female to a family or to a academic or as well as a professional responsibility. So now my next panelist is Dr. SubbaRao, sir. Sir, have you joined? Is it right to invite you right now, or we'll go ahead with
Radhika,
the
I think
next panelist?
I request you to please go ahead with the next panelist. I'll just join in about 5 minutes from
Okay,
home.
sir,
I'm
sure.
still driving. I'll reach in 2 minutes. Sorry for
Okay,
this
sir, sure.
inconvenience. Sorry. Yeah,
No
yeah, yeah.
problem,
Yes.
sir. Okay, okay. So, thank you, Gokhale, sir, for bringing in that academic perspective and also a chef perspective to it. Now, we would go ahead with Dr. Girish Lad, sir. who is a mental health expert and also working greatly in the gender equity as well. So, sir, my question to you is, how do gender biases, maybe a preference for son, or even the fetus detection practices, how do they affect the women's well-being and also their mental health status? And what role the men or the husbands or the head in the families as men can play in addressing these issues? Also, a related question here is, what strategies have proven really effective in engaging men as friends or as allies in promoting the gender equity as well as the mental well being, primarily in families? Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me. It is a pleasure and honor to be here with all the eminent guests. I'll start with some funny things, like when Professor Atul was talking about the men, more men becoming chef. And on the contrary, at the households, men are in minority as far as the nutrition, diet, or kitchen is concerned. Why this is happening? Because there is a commerce involved in becoming a chef. But still, now the opportunities are equal. So even girls also can pursue that career. But why men again? I should say capitalizing this opportunity, and why not girls? This is something very interesting that one has to study. As far as the gender equality is concerned, I have been working on this female feticide issue, and I have been observing, studying the gender preference for a boy over a girl. So it starts with a very simple thing that a boy is treated as an asset over a girl as a liability. Because of the societal systems that we have, that girl liability, because one fine day we have to marry her, then she'll go to somebody else's house, then there is a dowry and so many factors which are there. And these thinking belongs to the parents. Even if they're part of the society, even if these things are going on for years and years, but the first people who are responsible for this discrimination are unfortunately the parents and grandparents and the relatives. So discrimination starts from the family member. This doesn't sound good to listen, but this is a harsh reality. So as society, we have set norms like what a man should do and what a woman should do. We have defined their boundaries, we have defined their rules, and they are supposed to follow that. And one of the important rule set under this is that kitchen is a responsibility of a girl. So if boy getting into the kitchen, doing something, maybe a tea or a coffee or a Maggie, believed to be related to his mardangi, like, why are you getting into the kitchen? Are you a girl?
Right.
Now, if I have to talk about myself, my own experience as a child, I've always seen my father in kitchen. So at my home, I had a different environment. And later on, my mother had some health issues. So she was not allowed to lift weights and she had some physical limitations. So my father took it on himself and he started more involvement in the kitchen. So from childhood, I have seen my father in the kitchen. So for me, a man getting into the kitchen has nothing to do with the status or the prestige or the
Gender.
Or the gender. Second, if we have to talk about in general population, hunger does not discriminate the gender, age. So or the animal, everybody after a certain period of time becomes hungry. If they didn't get it, then they become angry.
Yes.
But the mother is the only exception to this because of the nurture that we have been seeing. So she is brought up in such a situation that After everybody's dinner or lunch is done, whatever whatever left is for herself. And
Correct.
that is what has been highlighted in the movies, in the serials, in all the medias, and those are the ideal women.
Correct.
So unknowingly, the woman also started accepting it that this is how they are supposed to live. So they started gaining pleasure in doing that. And
Okay.
ultimately, it has affected her health
Mm.
on a longer basis. And if
Mhm.
the food is not linked only to the physical health, but food is also linked to your mental health.
Absolutely.
So what you eat.
Mhm.
And this discrimination, starting from the diet, what is to be, I mean, many of the families still in India are discriminating about the food. Like, this
Mm.
food is for my son and this is for my daughter.
Mm.
So if
Mm.
there's only
Yes.
one glass, then parents will give it to the boy and they'll not give it to the daughter. So this
Mhm.
discrimination started at the early age. Forget that.
Mm.
When we have a delivery, if it is a boy and if it is a girl, what we distribute? If it is
Burfi,
a boy,
peda.
we give peda, and if it is a girl, we give barfi. So this is a super discrimination between the sweets. Okay.
Right.
So this has gone into deep root of our personality. And
Mhm.
our personality is made up of three components. One is the nature, that is our biological component, DNA. Second is nurture, and third is culture. So all these three components makes our personality.
Mhm.
Now, because of such
Mm.
style, we know what is the DNA, what is the health situation
Right. Mhm.
of a boy. So this to believe that, but after a period of time, after working on this feticide issue, I realized that women have more strength than men because they can sustain all the adverse
Right.
condition very firmly, and that is the strength. Strength is not how many kgs that you can lift. You that is not, you are going to use it always, but the inner strength is
Mhm.
more important. And the nature has taken its own course, and they have made a woman more stronger than men.
Mhm.
Then coming
Right.
second component of nurture. That's where the discrimination is done by the society, starting from the parents as a family. That's
Mm.
where we see the gender difference. And
Correct.
third part is culture. So culture is our relatives. Culture comes from our rituals. Culture comes from the whatever religious activities that we are supposed to do. Now just
Mhm.
use any AI and try to find out a single ritual that is to be
Mm.
done by the man for a woman
Right.
in any caste,
Okay.
any religion, any community across the world. Show me a single ritual that a husband is supposed to do, that after doing that ritual, the wife's 2 minutes life has been increased or his wife's health has improved. So overall, the
Absolutely.
rituals, everything has been made by the men to be executed or administered by women and for the men. So all
Mhm.
the fasting is supposed to be done by the woman, not by the men. Now we have
So there
all.
are so many claps for you, sir.
So we have all our reasoning for that, that the fasting is good and we should do fasting. But why it is only for women? How many
Mhm.
men that we know who do fasting once in a week?
Mhm.
Few of them that they are doing it once in a week because that they want to have a self control, that on that day they will not have non-veg and they will not have drinks.
Right.
So that is
True.
the motive for most of the men having fast. But for women,
Correct.
it starts from Sola Somwar. Even after marriage,
Yeah.
continuously doing fasting, not for herself, for the husband, but for family. So that is the discrimination is at peak at every stage, and we have to tremendously to have the equality. Now, gender equality, I personally believe it is a myth, because the creator,
Absolutely.
whether it is a god or a nature, they have made two separate species, a man and a woman.
Right.
They have made biological, psychological, neurological, behavioral differences at the time of creation. So still we are pursuing, just because a man is driving truck and now a girl has started driving truck, and we quote it as a equality. Whatever
True.
man is doing, a woman has started doing, and we quote it as an equality is being done. But that is not the right way of looking at the equality. The equality to me is that I should respect a woman for being a woman, and a woman should respect me for being a man, by
Right.
considering all the plus and minus points and respecting each other. So that should be the
Right.
equality, and that is something, that thought-driven process, that is where we all as a society, we should start working towards it.
Absolutely, sir. And I completely agree. There should not be a competition among the genders to prove that, how we are better than each other. And somehow, when we talk about feminism, that's a perspective that gets reflected, which is absolutely wrong. And it's more of an equity rather than equality. So, sir, any mental health issues that you have encountered among women because of men not participating into the nutrition or into their or not paying attention towards the health? Any particular cases which you would like to highlight here?
Yes, actually there are various such cases, and I will call it a negligence of a man in the kitchen, that it is not
Okay.
my responsibility. I
Okay.
am just there in the house to order, and I should be served. So that
Okay.
dictates the type of behavioral pattern that we observe, especially in husbands. And we see a lot of memes nowadays on this various social media, that the wife is
Yes.
asking, "What aaj kya banao?" And then it has been a joke. Whatever option you get, ultimately she'll make only what she wants.
Yeah.
Now we are spreading such type of memes, and people are laughing, people are accepting it, trying to correlate.
Yeah. Right.
Negligence, a man's negligence in the kitchen is something brings additional responsibility on a woman who is also working. Okay. So nowadays we have this fashion of calling ourselves a modern species. We are advanced, we are very modern. Okay, we give freedom, we drink at home. My wife is also drinking with me. Okay, but that's only for the society to see.
Correct.
The in-house reality is completely different.
Absolutely.
Why working, especially with the working woman, they are supposed to take care of their office and household responsibilities also. Because husband's job is a job and wife's job is not a job. So it starts from, if you have to pick up your kid from the school, and if it is a mother's duty, but if she has some immediate or important assignment at work, she can't tell her husband, ki, "I'm busy, I have office work, can you please go and pick up?" The first response, like, I'm very busy, my job is more important than your job. So you should compromise. And its tendency
True.
reaches till the kitchen. So if suppose wife is not healthy or she has some health issues, now they will order online. Same is been seen by the kids. They observe.
Yes.
and the same
Yes.
happening in the next generation.
Right.
I believe myself fortunate that I saw my father in the kitchen. And so I never had that shame associated with it. Rather, I thought that
Right.
it's my responsibility to do it. But
Mm-hmm.
this discrimination especially affects mostly the working women. Because
Right.
starting from making the dabba to their kids, to their husband, for herself, and then starting from changing the bed sheets to taking the towel to the right places, everything she has to do. But when it comes to the public talking, we pretend ourselves to be a very liberal. We need to wake up.
Sir, are there any specific clinical issues which you think could emerge mentally for a woman or a man due to a gender perspective? This is just out of curiosity
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
asking.
See, there is one very important. This leads to a very important discussion about the menopause. That because that is a physical condition. That is a
Correct.
physical transformation.
Correct.
And nowadays, because of the changing lifestyle, the perimenopause is starting early at the age of 35.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the women didn't understand, they didn't notice what's happening with them. Because it starts with
Absolutely.
psychological factors. It starts with the
Correct.
psychological sign and symptoms and then aggravated to the physical thing. So the mood swings, this for no reason, feeling of a crying, the brain fog, and all this is happening because the estrogen levels start decreasing, starts fluctuating,
Okay.
hormonal changes, and it
Right.
continues till the age of 50 plus. So
Okay.
menopause is 1 year period where you don't have any periods in that 1 year frame. And
Correct.
after that, it is a post-menopause. So all these biological changes and psychological changes. For the homemakers, that is the age group when kids are on their own.
Right.
And husband is always out for a job. And that's where the
Right.
loneliness, the emptiness, the missing purpose of life hits the woman at peak. When I was a kid, I have seen my mother's menopause, even though I was not knowing that she was in menopause. But who are of my generation, we all can remember that a typical repeated cassette I used to say to my mom every day morning. She used to have her high anger that nobody cares about me. I care for everybody. I don't have anything
Right.
to do in this household. I have to do everything for everybody. Why I am living and all that.
Yeah.
Now I can associate that she was undergoing menopause. And if we
I think all mothers here
yes, and
could relate.
if we try to recollect how we have responded her to her anger, to her frustration, to her mistakes. Like there is a cognitive impairment during this period. Like if you are making tea, you know the standard procedure. Like first you will put the water, then you'll put the tea powder, then you'll put the sugar, then milk. So that sequence.
Correct.
Or if you are making a sabji, sometimes you will have more salt, sometimes you will forget to put the salt. Sometimes forget how many CTs are there of the cooker. So all these are cognitive changes are happening during menopause. And that is the period where she need the maximum support from the family.
Correct.
Unfortunately, that is the period where every family member is responding ki why she is behaving like that. Morning she was happy, after 5 minutes she is sad, after 5. So those mood swings and all. So
Yeah.
awareness needs to be done within the woman first and then to the family also. So this is
Definitely, sir.
a case of every household, that how the biological or the transition within the woman's life can create so much of disturbances. Like recently we are working on that, and there are a couple of researches which are very devastating. The maximum divorces, a study was done in UK, and maximum percentage of divorces are during the menopause period.
True.
something very serious. And maximum number
Yes.
of domestic violence cases are also during menopausal period.
Okay.
And if there
Okay.
is a domestic violence, the menopausal sign and symptoms aggravate up to a
Hmm.
level that most of the women leads to having a breast cancer.
Oh,
So for
okay.
menopause, you need a psychological consultation. You need a
Hmm.
proper diet because menopause leads to weight gain.
Correct.
And many women didn't realize that everything is the lifestyle is same. I am not eating excess. I am not eating outside, but
Hmm.
suddenly there is a weight gain.
Weight gain
Then
observed.
that
Yeah.
weight gain leads to body image issues, the body shaming, losing the self-confidence,
Hmm.
self-esteem, all that
Hmm.
happens. So it is a cascade effect.
Correct.
So likewise, there are so many topics that I can talk.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for this wonderful perspective. And this really underlines that nutrition is not only about food and nutrients and macros and the micros, but it is also about dignity. It's also about emotional well being. It's also about fairness and equity, as you've mentioned. So, thank you very much, sir. And with this, we can go to our next panelist. I think SubbaRao sir is there now. I could see him. Sir, you're there?
Yeah,
Good evening, sir.
good evening.
Yeah. So, sir, you being a communication and a nutrition communication expert, my question to you is how can nutrition communication be reframed to challenge this notion that food or health is only women's issue? And also, from your practice and from your research, which are the various media and the communication approaches which have worked best in motivating men to take the ownership when it comes to family nutrition? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Radhika. Thanks for this opportunity, and I thank Symbiosis, then my very good friend Professor Atul, Dr. Kavita, and Radhika yourself, and my co-panelists, Dr. Girish and Siddharth, for bearing with me and my, untimely entry and exit into the webinar because I was initially. Let me apologize that I was stuck in a FSSAI meeting, a webinar for which a report was to be submitted today, and the meeting went on till 6:30, and then so this confusion. I'm so sorry. And then I hope I'll be able to answer the question that you raised, which is very, very important. And I've been hearing all the deliberations and then the quintessential role of men in nutrition. Of course, I think now there is an understanding that to promote nutrition, one has to work beyond the level of an individual, starting at the familial level to the community level to the policy level. I think the role of men in promoting nutrition should be seen as essential, but whether it's happening or not, on a lighter vein, let me just say, a lot of researchers in nutrition are men, a lot of teachers in nutrition are women, a lot of takers of nutrition courses are women, a lot of
Right.
policymakers again are men. So there is involvement of men, but the problem is it is top down. It is not bottoms
Hmm.
up. It's not happening
Hmm.
at family level.
Hmm.
Oftentimes it misses out at an individual level also. That, as rightly has been pointed out earlier, that women's nutrition is a women's forte, family nutrition is a woman's duty, and personal nutrition, my protein, my muscle, my body, my image, is a men's portfolio.
Right.
There are a lot of
Rightly
influencers
said,
who
sir.
talk about nutrition on social media now,
Hmm.
and their voice is really heard. You said, what are the best
Hmm.
approaches to reach out to men?
Yes.
Men reaching men for individual bodybuilding or protein promotion, or maybe
Hmm.
a holistic diet and a six
Hmm.
pack and an eight pack works really good with the men, and they are at the forefront on it. But when it comes to family
Hmm.
pack, there is a lot of
Hmm.
talk about six pack, eight pack, but there is no talk about the family pack. So men are not
Right.
great influencers
Absolutely.
in that scenario. Men are influencing
Right.
men. Men are influencing
Correct.
men for certain aspects, but men are not influencing holistic family nutrition yet. But there is a
Yes.
lot of change in the perspective. The new generation men do participate in taking care of children. There are a lot of men who take care of all the responsibilities which earlier were supposed to be women's domain. Not at all. Taking my personal example, I don't know whether it is relevant or not relevant. I do participate in kitchen activity every morning, and I was involved in taking care of my infant kid when he was young. uh, his complimentary feed, staying home after my wife had to go join her work after 6 months of maternity leave. From 6 months to 12 months, I was the one who took care because my mom was also working and was not yet retired. So there is a new generation of individuals who's participating in family level nutrition. Not only nutrition is not only about cooking. Nutrition is about choice of food. Nutrition is about engaging in kitchen activities. Nutrition is about getting the food. Nutrition is about selecting the food for the family. Nutrition, I mean, it's still men's domain in many households to get the fruit, vegetable provisions, and other things for the home.
Yes.
So if the man doesn't get fruit every day, the family perhaps doesn't get to eat fruit every day. Of course, we now have home deliveries possible, but again,
Yes.
the entire context of ordering food is still done by dominantly by men. So while I say that, if you take the dietary guidelines for Indians, consciously the dietary guidelines also promotes role of men in family nutrition, especially among while promoting infant and young child feeding practices. And the latest communication from Poshan Abhiyan, or the communication on Poshan Ma itself now, while it talks about women's health as an important thing, including obesity and growing problem of non-communicable diseases among women, it also talks about promotion of complementary feeds and other things, and the role of men for promoting all this. If you've taken the breastfeeding week last month, it was talking about
Yes.
how, as a family, we need to promote breastfeeding. What is the role of a man
Correct.
in promoting breastfeeding? So these things have to go much more into the public domain. If you ask me what is the best mode of communication, I think family engagement right at the family level. Let us not talk even about community engagement. We should start with the family. I think
Okay.
that works really good. And some studies are showing that peer engagement works very well with men. That if one person is doing,
Okay.
the other person in the community is likely to follow that. So that's the reason why in many
Right.
of the public health campaigns that the government is taking up, there are men who are playing important role, whether in promoting early breastfeeding, or whether in promoting complementary feeding for the children, since
Right.
their involvement is being taken a bit seriously. But are we still there? No, we are not still there. We are still male dominated society, as has been said earlier. But I think I don't want to paint a very rosy picture, but I'm sure the future is not very gloomy.
Okay, sir. Okay. And sir, any particular incidents or any particular experience which you experience, or where you have seen a gap or where you have seen a challenge when it comes to the gender equity?
In terms of nutrition or nutrition communication or community engagement, what exactly are you looking at?
In terms of communication, sir, where you have seen a gap or a challenge while
Yeah,
you were implementing a particular program?
yes.
Yeah.
Many of the health communication programs, especially the ones related to nutrition, are still aimed at women. Reason one being that women is a perpetuator of transgenerational cycle of malnutrition. If a woman is
Right.
undernourished at a very early stage, a woman is likely to. So, with that intent, most of the communication is targeted at the beneficiary, which the word which I
Correct.
hate to use. Woman is not a beneficiary, or no one is a beneficiary. It is their right to be healthy, their right to be nutritious. But a
Right.
woman's nutrition doesn't matter just a woman, but it matters the family and also the future generations. So in order to
Right, sir.
change that scenario, most of the communication is actually targeted at women. But
Hmm.
lately, the focus is little shifting. There is an understanding that it is at a family level that it needs to be done. So there is
Correct.
also an understanding and targeting of communication to the people who matter to women's health. It could be mother-in-law, it could be father-in-law, it could be husband,
Right.
and it could be the son in the family. So
Right.
engagement of the entire family as a unit for
Hmm.
community engagement is something that we need to look at. And oftentimes we
Right.
come across this, that when you talk about nutrition, you have to target the mother, you have to target the woman,
Hmm.
you have to target the
Hmm.
mother-in-law. Gone are the days. Now
Correct.
you have to target the husband. Now you have to target
Husbands.
the son. Now you'll have to target the
Right.
village head. If the village head is a woman, it's well and good. If it is not, even oftentimes it is a woman who's a village head, who is run by the husband, because husband still
Right.
wants to hold the power, puts a figurehead in front. But that should not be the
Correct.
scenario. I think
Correct.
broader perspective and understanding should dawn everywhere, and I think we should get going with it. And yes, the new generation is much more accommodative, and the new
Yes.
generation has to be accommodative for its own good. If it is
Yes.
not, it is not right.
Absolutely. Excellent insight, sir. And this reminds us that unless men see themselves into the narrative, they won't step into the responsibility. And of course, the new generation has to evolve so that they take the equal responsibility. Now, with this, we go to Siddharth, sir. Siddharth, sir, is a policy maker again. And Siddharth, sir, I have a few questions for you. From a public health specialist and a public health nutrition specialist, from your field experience, what role men can play in ensuring that there is an equitable access based on your projects that you have done at community level or household level? And how can the public health policies or how can the public health programs be restructured where we involve men as very active stakeholders? They are there, they are supporters. However, especially with respect to maternal and child health, how do you think we can bring a change here? Over to you, sir.
Sure. Thanks, Dr. Radhika, for giving me this opportunity. And first of all, I would like to thank everyone, the team at Symbiosis, and Dr. Kavita and yourself for inviting us, and also my co-panelists. I think it was truly a pleasure listening to all of them. And since they've touched upon most of the points, so I think my job is much more easier. So, yeah, and to be in the true sense, I might just say that like you introduced me that I'm a policy maker. I would rather say that I'm a learner and not a policy maker in that sense, because I wouldn't want to be a part of that top-down approach what Dr. SubbaRao mentioned, right? So yeah, so to just talk about this particular subject, and it's very thoughtful of you and very rightly picked up the topic that say if you're talking about ending malnutrition, or say zero hunger for that matter. Say if 50% of the world's population is not involved anywhere in nutrition, how do you expect that we'll achieve? So I think that is something
Excellent.
which very strongly puts out there that why we need to engage with men as such. Coming back to your question as to what is the role that men can play as such. So I might just be do a job of summarizing what a lot of my co-panelists have mentioned. But say when Dr. Atul mentioned about say men involved in say planning the meals every day, or say purchasing what is required at the household level, of keeping an understanding what is required, or say what are the nutritional requirements of each and every individual. Uh, Certainly, I think at the household level for men, that is a very important role that they can play. And I do see that in urban households that there is a certain change in the mentality and the trend that men do get involved. But again, it's just say a very small percentage there. a lot of rural India, a lot of urban India still has to change, wherein, men can actually play a very active role in, say, even meal planning for that matter. uh, at my household, it works like, my wife is working in the same sector, and, we have to decide on a weekly menu because, otherwise, kal kya khaoge to mujhe ye khana nahi tha. So, let's decide as to what you want to eat
Yeah.
tomorrow. So
Planning
that
of
is
it.
how the
Yeah.
planning of the meal works that way.
Right.
The second aspect is, say, a very important role that men can play around is, say, pregnancy and lactation period. Primarily because there is evidence to suggest that, there are benefits for the child, there are benefits for the man who's involved in there, and also benefits for the woman who's involved in. Like, especially Dr. Girish Lad would agree with this, that, breastfeeding women, especially if they receive support, that, that encourage to continue breastfeeding, issues such as, post delivery trauma or post delivery depression. I think those issues can be addressed, and, men can really play a very good role in supporting women, especially around that period. And even if I talk about the child, there is, and you nowadays you'll hear a lot of influencers also talking about this, that, the bond that the child will develop with his father is something which, it passes on that feeling of the empathy, it passes on that feeling of nurturing and caring.
Yes.
So
True.
again, and, traditionally these were roles which were seen as roles by women. But men certainly also for themselves as well, whenever they get involved into this does also lead to their own understanding about childcare. It also leads to, feelings of care and attachment to the child. So again, there are a lot of benefits for the man himself as well. I would say that, the other thing we also, I think somebody mentioned about cooking at home and, possibly shared responsibility. So again, that is which I would say is certainly a way in which men can contribute at household. Uh, and the other thing is that, say, resource allocation for that matter. Like when I talk about primarily we are a male dominated society, and a lot of these economic power or say the money power lies with the men as to, what should be bought at homes, or say, how should we spend that money at home and everything. So if the men are aware about, what do we need to spend upon, or say, where is the money that we need to spend on, how nutrition care of my household will be taken care of. So I think those are things which also, again, men can sort of, contribute in a way. And say,
Right.
if we talk about at the community level, uh, uh, Dr. SubbaRao mentioned about, the pradhans, the villager, the sarpanch as such. This is a very classic example. So when we were working in Uttar Pradesh, uh, so, we were, talking about, say, improving awareness about fortified rice as to, how fortified rice can lead to, say, reduction in anemia levels, and, you should consume it. And so when we were talking about that, first we initially engaged with the sarpanchas, and typically it's a very good move that, the sarpanchas in Uttar Pradesh are women. But to a point, we understood that, these women do not go out of their households. Okay, we called them for a workshop, and, we are like, we told them about what is this intervention all about. But then we realized, oh no, these do not go out of their households. Primarily, it's the Pradhan Pati who does it, and, who sort of goes out
Okay.
in the community and has a very huge influence over the community. So again,
Right.
we did engage with them further, and, certainly it was an example wherein, men at the community level can lead by, say, engaging into advocacy, leadership, and, which certainly can have impact at the community level as well. And
Right.
the other thing is that, a lot of men, I think, we should engage in, or say, men should support women's education for that matter. Uh, because, say, if women are educated, they are, they are employable, or say, they get that employment as well. And it's going to bring in that additional income at households. It's only going to support you. So it's sort of,
Correct.
you do need to support women empowerment, or say, educate women in a way so that, women are independent on their own. They have their own livelihood. And gradually, with this sort of education, it's also going to come into, again, improvement for nutrition. So I think there are
Correct.
some of these actions which you can take at the community level. Uh, Having said that, at the practical level or on, say, the ground level, there are multiple, issues in which, or say, multiple levels in which we can engage. But from our experiences, what we've seen that, say, the parent or say the father, primarily when you get the father at the VHND day, or say at the
Mm,
Anganwadi, or say even for
mm,
collection of the THRs and something of that sort, and you sort of tell them that this is how the child needs to be fed, or this is how you need to provide them the THR or feed them complementary feeds as such.
mm.
We've seen positive results in terms of better acceptability and also in terms of better utilization of the THR products that we sort of produce in these
That's
states.
great.
So there are multiple ways in which practically men can be involved. Uh, yeah, I think that, and say setting an example by cooking at the like whenever we do a cooking demonstration, we also have like men who sort of lead the examples or show the way by sort of doing the cooking demonstrations at the community level. So it's sort of just a way of setting the narrative or just setting an example at the rural level. So those are some of the practical examples that we do. Sorry, I missed your second question. What was the other part of your question? Yeah.
Yeah, my second question was, are there any policies and programs which can be restructured, which you feel where the men can be the active stakeholders?
So
Are
if I
there any
talk
such programs?
policy, certainly, I think the way even our POSHAN Ma guidelines are structured, or even
Right.
when we talk about the dietary guidelines for Indians, I think there is an effort to also
Mm,
reach out to the 50% left out population as such. But we're still at a very
correct.
nascent stage. And there's a lot
Yeah.
of development which still needs to go in. And it can
Mm,
start with, say, small pilots or small steps taken in this regard. Say, if there's a VHND day which is happening, or say a THR
mm,
distribution which is happening,
mm,
I'm not saying mandating men to come because there can be hurdles in women who would want to
mm,
access it as well. But say, do
correct.
small demonstrations which can, show you that with involving men into say care of children or say bringing them to the VHND day and making sure that they are aware about the nutritional
Mm,
entitlements. There could be a
mm,
small initiatives which then sort of lead to a bigger policy change. And there are examples in other countries which have sort of successfully done work around this. The other way in which we also engage, be it at the policy level or be it at the ground level, is whatever our IC materials or say awareness materials that we develop for the community.
mhm,
These
mhm,
are materials which are not just targeted with, say, women as the caretakers as such, but you would also see a man or a man sort of, equally
mm,
participating in household
mm.
care as such. And if you'd allow me, there are some photos that I've sent it to you.
Yeah, please,
So,
please, please,
yeah,
sir. Please go ahead.
yeah. Or
You
possibly
can
you
share
could,
your screen.
yeah, if you could upload
It
it.
is enabled, I think. Anuja, it is
Okay,
enabled, right? The screen sharing?
Yes, ma'am. It is enabled already.
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
okay. Just give me a minute. Uh, yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's
So, I
visible.
mean, these
Yes.
are some of the, these are just some of the flyers and some of the IC materials that we've developed. And
Mm-hmm.
this typically target children around, say, 6 to 24 months of age, which are, children around the complementary feeding
Mm,
age group.
mm,
And you would
mm,
see that, in one of the pictures, there is a grandfather who's sort of involved. In the other
mm.
side, these
Right.
are flyers which have been developed for, say, government of Kerala. I mean, one of the flyers are for the government of Rajasthan, the other is for the government of Kerala. And you would see that, these are men who are sort of involved when the child is being fed. He sort of looks after the child, and, even when the child is unwell or something. And these flyers have been literally distributed across the state, and the government, in fact, sort of scaled it up and further took it up. But
Okay.
these go to each and every Anganwadi and are distributed at the time of, say, whenever the THR product is being distributed to the Anganwadis, to the beneficiaries. So again, there are some of these
Okay.
initiatives. Then there
Okay.
are some of these flip books that we developed, wherein you could see a man, a man sitting on the dining table along with the children having a
Hmm.
conversation at the dining table, and the entire family enjoying the meal together. Uh,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
they also talk about the product and what are the different kind of food. So there are these sort of messaging, subtle messages, which are
Hmm.
included in the messaging that we sort of bring in there, and just a small way of bringing in policy change or say engaging men in there. And then there are some of these videos that we've developed where you could see it's when we
Hmm.
talk about school feeding, when we talk about household care, or even say at the fair price shop. Primarily,
Hmm.
at the fair price shop, you would expect that the fair price shop owner is usually a man, but then his superiors
Hmm.
are again men over there. So
Hmm.
we've tried to reverse the roles wherein we've shown a woman who's sort of the leader and the man is learning from her. So there are multiple perspectives in which we sort of showcase this sort of thing, and subtle messaging in which we say that it's men can also learn from women, and it's not just that men can always be the learned ones or say the educated ones or so. And some of these posters, which are
Wonderful.
again being circulated across different government circles as well. So
Okay.
yeah, so I think that's what I would share. But of course, further, if you have any questions, I would certainly be happy to take them. Thank you.
No, sir. Thank you so much. And these are absolutely important insights. And these show us that for any programs to succeed, the men, they have to be treated not just as passive supporters, but also as equal partners where they are learning as well as are the learners themselves. So thank you so much. Now, to conclude, basically, this is for all our eminent panelists. There is one question, a common question, and I would request for a very brief one-liner answer from you. If you truly want to mainstream men into nutrition or family well-being as such, give us one practical step, just one low-hanging fruit which you think, whether it could be the public health programs, whether it could be communication strategies, whether it could be food cultures, whether it could be institutional initiatives, or whether it could be mental health initiatives that you believe is going to create the most immediate and the most visible impact. So we can start with Gokhale, sir.
I think Radhika, being a chef, again, I can tell you that my one-liner would be kitchen participation by men in cooking, because that
Right.
itself would lead to them knowing about the insights of what goes into cooking, what is right, what is wrong, how they see publicly things. And when they bring that knowledge at home, from working knowledge from home to home, probably that would add a lot of value. For all these steps can be taken by just one participation in cooking in kitchen household.
Absolutely, sir. And of course, it's a change of taste also for a woman
Yeah.
on a lighter note. Yeah. Over to you, SubbaRao sir. Yeah. And I want to mention here, I know SubbaRao sir is a great cook. And yeah, I know about his story where he has shared how he's really taken care of his infant and also ma'am. So over to you, sir. Yeah.
The low-hanging fruit would be I would take the Japanese example. Make eating, cooking, and distribution of food a part of the skill building activity right at school age. So there are no gender roles
Yes.
in that, so that there are no
Absolutely.
inhibitions of taking part in your own food selection. I think the Japanese model is really.
Sir, I can't hear your voice. Can you all hear his voice?
Can you
No, sir
hear
is
me
on
now?
Ah,
mute.
yes, yes,
So
yes.
did you hear the first part that I said about the Japanese schools?
Japanese,
Yeah,
yeah, that
it's
we
a
could
right.
hear.
It's a school. It's right building the skill right at the beginning, and also a step towards removing the gender roles around food and nutrition. It's not only just cooking, distributing, and consuming food together, but also cleaning up of the kitchen and washing the plates is their essential activity.
Yes,
That should be something that
absolutely.
we teach our kids right at a very young age, and we should be
Yes,
participating.
right, right. Over to you, Dr. Girish, sir.
Yes. It is a sheer coincidence that today I am in Delhi and I am at National Commission for Women since 12 o'clock in the afternoon till we have to start our meeting. And even right now I'm sitting and they have extended 1 hour of their office work because we have this meeting. So
Okay.
this coincidence of sitting at National Commission for Women, I was just thinking that like in one liner, what should I be saying? And then I had a thought, like there is a National Commission for Women, so we should have National Decommission for Men. And then
Okay.
expert from different areas should come together and have a bird's eye view as a
Right.
and do a policy making, and then it should be converted into the rules and laws.
Perfect. So I think this initiative, SubbaRao sir, can we start with NSI and SCANS, Gokhale sir, along with your support, of course, Girish sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is something I thought, but the fun part apart, actually, what is happening and my past experience, what I have learned is that there are so many good human beings in India who are working tirelessly without any ambition, without any expectations, with the cause and passionately. What I have
Right.
noticed in today's modern era, what we call the IT or a communication era, these experts are working independently. So I think there has to be a platform where experts from all different specialty area should come together and then working out on a policy making from the bird's eye view. And
Right.
for that, there has to be a support from the agency like a National Women for National Commission for Women.
Right.
Make it an
That's an
official.
excellent suggestion, sir. Yes. Okay. Over to you, Siddharth sir. Yeah.
I
Siddharth
think
sir,
from
can you
my
hear
end,
me?
I would
Yeah.
say that, yeah, I can. So from my end, I would suggest that, the low-hanging fruits could be a lot of these development agencies and a lot of these agencies develop IC materials. So making these IC materials, say, in a way gender neutral, or say, depicting a man inside there as well could be an easy thing. I mean, it's just changing some of the, or whenever you're developing IC materials, depicting a man in there, or whatever, whenever it's relevant. So that could be one of the ways. And extending one beyond, or say, just one step further from what Dr. SubbaRao mentioned, is that even looking at the curriculum for, say, academia or even say medical professionals, where we talk about the role that men can play and show some positive examples around that, the evidence around how can, like engaging men into, say, nutrition care or say even healthcare, how can it improve the maternal and child health outcomes? So I think that could be one of the ways is also where, I mean, we could also improve or say, that could be included. So these could be some of my easy low-hanging fruits that I think. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. And this was wonderful. In fact, I think this was the best part where we have all the practical action points which can be actually taken ahead. And each of your perspectives converges on a shared truth, I would say, that when men step up as partners, as spouses, as family members, as supporters, mentors, I think the society thrives. So through this POSHAN SAMVAAD series, I think this is a reminder that real change begins only when conversations are getting into actions. And thank you so much to all our panelists. So over to you, Anuja, for the next segment. Yeah.
Good
So we
evening. It was
request
a
all the
wonderful
panelists to
session.
bear with us for the
Yeah.
next 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll quickly take a photograph. For that, I want everyone to
Yes.
actually, switch on your videos. Yeah.
Request all the participants to please kindly switch on your videos so that we know you're there with us, ready to make a change.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Done.
done.
And I would request Dr. Harshada to give vote of thanks for the session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the feedback form you have put?
Yeah, ma'am
No.
would be putting the feedback form and she has already
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
Okay, great. Any questions from the participants?
Yes.
A very quick question. We know we are a bit late. However, any quick question from the participants for our eminent panelist? Oh, this is the dinner time, probably. Okay,
Hello.
I think Harsh. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yes,
just
ma'am.
would like to say that since there are nutritionists on the panel and mental health expert on the panel, we should be able to tie up these two together for any policy henceforth which is coming up, because every aspect or every deficiency of mental of nutrient affects the mental health, and every mental health symptom or I would say any mental health aspect affects the intake of the people, and so probably the nutritional deficiencies can arise. It's a psychosomatic, as mental health people say it as. So we should be able to tie up these two together henceforth. That's what I feel.
There's one question.
Definitely, ma'am.
There's no question. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am, there's one question.
Yeah.
I'll just read it out. In spite of increasing nutritional awareness, nutrition is still not an academic priority to boys. Without such formal training in nutritional science, is it possible to educate the males towards family health only through community programs? What efforts would facilitate the same? This question is from SubbaRao ma'am.
Wonderful. Very true. Very practical question. Thank you, Subhadra ma'am. Yeah. So over to you, panelist.
You mean to say nutrition is not a domain that many men choose, right? Yeah. I think the scenario is changing, but unfortunately or fortunately, we see most researchers who are doing nutrition are all men, and they come from varied fields. Perhaps they didn't have training in preventive medicine or social sciences or many other disciplines. The researchers in nutrition are largely, I mean, I can't say, but at least we can say at least a considerable number of men. The people who teach nutrition, it was all in the earlier era when we made nutrition part of a, a subject called home science, and we made that home science more relevant to homemakers or women. But now, I mean, we run a National Institute of Nutrition runs a nutrition program, and we do have some men takers in the program, and they're doing fairly well, not just in research but also in practice that they are in.
Yes.
So I think the things are changing, but it's all about how we present it. Like Professor Atul already said, in culinary arts there are larger men, and in nutrition sciences there are women. But if you come up with a program with the new NEP that we have, which combine these two, I am sure there are better takers for these. And you custom make nutrition into such a way that it is the main thing is about employability. But a lot of people see that nutrition is not an employable sector. But today the things are changing with more and more startups coming, food technology happening. So there is a need for custom making nutrition science, not just as the numbers related to calories and then nutrients and things like that, but also and diet counseling, but also broad base it to include a bit of food technology, a bit of community oriented work, so that the employment opportunities can diversify not just into one area, but either into research or into academics or practice, or NGO sector, or maybe into cooking, or maybe into food technology. If our courses become so broad based, there'll definitely be more takers. I'm sure the answer is not short as expected, but I couldn't give a better answer than that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, over to you, Harshada ma'am.
Thank you, Radhika ma'am. Before I begin the vote of thanks, I would like to announce it one more time. Feedback form link has been posted in the chat box. I request all the participants to kindly fill up the feedback form so that you will be able to receive the e-certificate for today's program. Good evening to everybody. On behalf of Nutrition Society of India, Pune Chapter, it is my privilege to extend vote of thanks for today's panel discussion of POSHAN SAMVAAD series. I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our panelists, starting with Professor Atul Gokhale, sir. Your session perfectly highlighted that academic institutions can prepare future professionals to view nutrition as a shared gender responsibility. We are grateful to have you today, Dr. SubbaRao, sir, for enlightening us to break the stereotype that food and health are women's issue. Nutrition communication has been reframed to emphasize shared responsibility, masculinity in caregiving, and the broader social and economical impacts of good nutrition. Our sincere thanks to Dr. Girish Lad, sir. Your session emphasizes beautifully that equity is important than equality, and gender biases severely can impact women's well-being and health, while men can play a very critical role in addressing these issues by challenging the discriminating norms. Our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Siddharth Wagulkar, sir, for his very informative inputs that men can play a vital role in ensuring equitable access to nutrition at both households as well as at community levels by active participation in food decisions, sharing caregiving responsibilities, supporting women's nutritional needs, and advocating for equal food distribution. Our heartfelt thank to Dr. Radhika Hedau, convener of NSI Pune Chapter, for her initiative in planning and efficiently conducting today's panel discussion. Her constant support and encouragement is highly appreciated. We thank Professor Kavita Menon ma'am from Symbiosis School of Culinary Arts and Nutrition Sciences for a delightful introduction and opening remarks for today's panel discussion. Our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Archana Ainapure ma'am and Texas School of Mental Health for providing us with the online platform for conducting this series. And we also extend our gratitude to SSCNS for their support always. Thank you, Ms. Anuja Mohile, for coordinating today's session seamlessly. And now I would like to invite Ms. Surbhi Singh, Teaching Associate from SSCNS, for further announcement. Thank you, everybody.
Ma'am, you forgot to thank yourself also.
Thank you. I
Thank you,
have
Harshada
forgotten
ma'am,
to
for
thank all the
being there. Yeah.
participants, because without our participants,
Yes.
today's discussion
Yeah.
wouldn't have been possible
Right.
that way. Yes. Thank you, everybody.
Yes. So till this is getting shared, sir, we would like to also mention we started with the POSHAN Samvaad with Archana ma'am's session, where she has highlighted wonderful case studies on mental health and nutrition. And then we had Suchitra Roy ma'am, who gave a gender perspective, whether there is gender equity and equality on the plate. And after that, of course, the Menstreaming was something which was much needed because we spoke about gender. And now going ahead with the theme, over to you, Surbhi.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So it was indeed a treat for all of us to listen to all our panel members today in this Nutrition Samvaad series. And I would like to invite again all of you to our coming session that will be conducted on 3rd of October by our expert, Dr. Harshada Thakur, who is an assistant professor at SNDT College of Home Science, Pune. And also she is the secretary to Nutrition Society of India, Pune Chapter. The topic will be IYCF in India, strengthening the first 1,000 days of life. So looking forward to meet each one of you again on 3rd of October. And over to you, Dr. Radhika, ma'am.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Surpi. I think with this, we are done with our Poshan Samvad series, where we have concluded our wonderful panel discussion with all your eminent panelists. Thank you so much for your time. And this is a reminder again, as I said, that the real change can happen only when the conversations turn into action. And this panel, because it was primarily led by men, I completely believe that when it comes to men, it is only actions rather than words. It's only in Bollywood we see the words and all, but it is primarily the actions which speak louder than words. So thank you very much to all the eminent panelists, and definitely we look forward to collaborate and take this ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Have a great dinner and have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.